Hi and welcome to the Social Superstar. In this video, we will acquaint you with two very important types of people, and this realization will improve your social life drastically. There are all types of people out there, and this is why the golden rule is not that efficient. It may be even superficial. To treat others the way you want to be treated. This is very far from the harsh reality out there. Just kidding, but the situation is this. Today we are going to learn about the thinker and the feeler types of people, how to talk to them successfully, what makes them tick, and how to recognize them. And you will get lots of aha moment throughout this video as to why you have maybe failed or are having problem in some of your communications with people. So stay until the end to learn how to recognize, how to talk to the different types of people. So what to do? First, get to know the types of people and act accordingly to that type. This is the only way you will speak one language and you will understand each other. Is it hard to achieve? Well, for me it wasn't, because I was so interested in that topic that I watched all the videos and I read all the books and I attended all the seminars, and here I am now really understanding people. And this is, by the way, one of the greatest gifts you can give to a person these days, to really get them, to really understand them. But you will say, how can you pretend to be someone you are not? And yeah, I get it. How do you talk to a thinker if you are a feeler? You have to pretend you are a thinker, right? Well, there is a bit of distinction here. If you know Chinese and you meet a Chinese person, would you talk to them in English? Probably not, because you want to understand each other, especially if you have some kind of interest, which you always do. But let's take it one step at a time. Let's determine who do we define as thinker and who do we define as feeler. Then we will determine who you are. And at the end, we will determine how to best approach the two types and how to have the best time together. So, are you a thinker or are you a feeler? How do you make a decision? Is it a matter of principles or is it a matter of value? What is it most important to you? To be truthful even if this hurts someone's feelings, or to be tactful even if this means telling a little white lie? Which usually persuades me more, a good logical argument or a strong emotional appeal? For thinkers, logic is king, so they always try to look the situation from outside and the above. They always objectify the situation. They think about the consequences of the situation and they ask themselves, does this make sense? What are the pros and the cons? What the consequences will be? And what consequences will those consequences have? For feelers, they always personalize the situation. They put themselves into the situation. They never take a step back as thinkers do. They actually take a step forward, injecting themselves into the situation and ask themselves, how do I feel about this? How will other people feel? Is this the right thing to do? What is my heart telling me? What my personal values are telling me to do? Like in all other types, thinkers tend to be better at some things than feelers and vice versa. Since most people enjoy their natural strengths, it comes as no surprise that the preferences for thinking or feeling will often influence career choices. For example, careers like teaching, nursing, counseling attract larger numbers of feelers. In other words, the helping professions, for example, is what more feelers are naturally drawn to, because they like to help and please others, and they will often go out of their way to help people, even strangers. Feelers are naturally thoughtful. They often engage in social niceties. They always choose the best surprises and gifts. They are much more likely to immediately write thank you notes and acknowledging gifts. They also tend to show genuine concern for the welfare of others, and they often are to be found visiting older people, sick relatives or friends, listening to their problems and offering genuine support. Thinkers can also perform acts of kindness, but they are usually more impersonal, like helping them solve problems, resolving a dispute. Thinkers are often attracted to careers that deal primarily with goods, for example, manufacturing, engineering, development, science, research. Thinkers do not like to work with other people, not to say engaging with employees, caretaking and others. So how to recognize a thinker? Thinkers tend to be more direct, critical, totally truthful, even blunt sometimes, and they may occasionally forget to offer positive feedback. They use logic, they are analytical, they are objective. Their inferior feeling can result in their inability to deal sensitively with others or to be in touch with their own values. Thinkers act cooler, they may appear insensitive and self-centered. Thinkers tend to first note and deal with points of difference and later to agree. They may seem insensitive, they may seem distant towards others, they may seem tactless, they often appear businesslike, may argue or debate for fun, they are more thick-skinned, they get right to the point, they start phone calls with the main point straight ahead, they don't ask how are you and engage in niceties, they appear low-key and matter-of-fact, they are usually very assertive, they use impersonal language, they don't use people's names as often as feelers do, they like strategies, whether in jobs or in games or in their spare time. Usually men have a 65% chance of being thinkers. And they usually have facial wrinkles, maybe between the brows and on the forehead. Those are the so-called thinking wrinkles. How to recognize a feeler? First, feelers generally act friendlier than thinkers. This is especially true for extroverted feelers. They are often described as kind and considerate. I actually developed this trait within me. I am an introverted thinker and I learned to be an extroverted feeler. I learned a lot from my bestie who is a die-hard feeler. And now I reap the merits of this because I know two languages, so to say. And feelers generally smile, frown, employ more facial expressions than thinkers, so they usually have the typical wrinkle. When they are happy and excited, feelers are usually quick to smile, and when they are unhappy or frightened, their faces register their pain and discomfort. They act warmer, they are friendlier toward others, they look to establish harmony, they are diplomatic and always try to keep the good tone in the conversation. They start the conversation with hey, how are you, or something like that. But feelers tend to have the innate drive to understand others, and they derive great satisfaction from helping other people in whatever ways they can. Feelers are very sensitive to others' feelings. They can actually read people's feelings and know how to act accordingly. They are usually very gentle and diplomatic. They engage in social niceties. They avoid arguments, conflict, and confrontation. They have their feelings hurt more easily because they are more open and they wear their heart on their sleeve. They engage in small talk first. They ask timing is convenient when they speak on the phone. They may appear excited and emotional. They are generous with praise and compliments, but they may lack assertiveness. They use a lot of value words. They use people's name more frequently. They are often involved in helping jobs like nursing and teaching, and they are more likely to be females because 65% of the females are actually feelers. Another easily observable behavior has to do with the fact that thinkers are more comfortable arguing and might enjoy a heated debate. For them, intellectual exercise is not something they take personally. The same cannot be said of feelers, who seldom engage in recreational arguing because to them it means people are unhappy or angry with each other. So, how to speak with thinkers? First, maybe you have to challenge their intellectual curiosity. Focus on the patterns rather than on other people's feelings. Use analogies, use comparisons, use scientific studies as an argument. Don't overwhelm them with details about people's feelings and other people's stuff. Expect them to be more resourceful. Use words and phrases like I think, studies show, I read that. Rely on facts, data, and fairness. And show your competence as well. Be consistent with your thoughts and let your thoughts out organized and logical. Consider the cause and effect. Focus on the consequences. It's a big mistake to ask a thinker how they feel. You should ask them what they think instead, and engage in a friendly debate, or not so friendly, they don't care so much. Appeal to their sense of fairness and don't repeat yourself. Say things like I have a problem because they love to solve problems. What is the plan? What is your opinion? And so on. How to talk to feelers? You should smile and give friendly signals. First mention the points of agreement and be considerate. Try to agree and never go into a debate because they will interpret it as hostility. Appreciate their efforts and contributions, recognize and talk about feelings, and have a large dictionary about emotion. With feelers, say things like, let's get along, I feel, work together, I sense, and use empathy and compassion. Smile and maintain good eye contact and ask them, can I tell you how I feel? How do you feel about this? Give compliments freely and throughoutly. And evaluating thinkers versus feelers approach to emotions, it becomes clear that thinkers and feelers approach emotions, especially negative emotions, quite differently. Despite this disparity, we cannot say that either approach is inherently better, as each is orientated and optimized for different outcomes. Indeed, it is hard to say what is better, and feelers, whose talents lie in understanding, empathizing, and communicating with others, may lack objectivity and take things far too personally to make good decisions. Misunderstandings can occur if a feeler's warmth seems naive to the thinker, or a thinker's coolness looks like coldness and heartlessness to a feeler. The good news overall are that whatever your type is, in this dichotomy, you can easily get along with one another. The mindsets and the worldviews are not that unsurmountable, unlike the case with sensors and intuitors, which you can watch in this video, because sensors seem too boring and too linear to the intuitors, and the intuitors may seem out in the clouds, out of this world, and sometimes even downright crazy to the sensors. So thinkers have lots to learn from the feelers and vice versa. And remember, no thinker is a 100% thinker, and no feeler is a 100% feeler. Feelers think and thinkers feel. So maybe when a thinker gets a good compliment or a good surprise or a good gift from a feeler, they may actually feel pretty good, although they are thinkers and they are less likely to appreciate those stuff. So watch out for the nuances. With enough practice, you will be able to make lots of quality friendships. Thanks for watching. I hope you enriched yourself, and see you in the next video. Bye!